Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sally, and I would like to welcome you to Farmhouse Fabrics. Um, I feel like surrounded by beautiful things today because we have been working on making lace kits for Gail Doan's latest class, which is Timeless Heirloom Dress and Jumper. And so the dresses are behind me, and we showed them last week and discussed them, and we've been assembling lace kits. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and that's just been so much fun. And so this is the last week of August, as you all know. We're ending our summer with a big hoorah because hopefully it's going to get a little cooler. So my grandkids have started their football season. So we went and we watched two football games last night. My granddaughters are playing softball. So the night before we watched two softball games, and we're looking forward to a little bit of cool breeze coming in because you know Michelle's nodding her head because she goes to her kids'
swim meets.
yeah, swim meets, and it's very, very hot sitting out there. It's really hot, but anyway, it's fun and I love it. And our son Joel rode with us last night, and I was saying something about I don't understand how people complain about going to sports events, and he looked at me like I was talking about him, and I said I'm not talking about you because he doesn't complain, but I said I loved every minute of it, even though we were busy. When your kids are at home and they're involved in something they enjoy, it's just fun, and it's hard, and your time is so limited, and you're feeling like you're going in a million directions. But when they're grown, then you're like, well, man, what are we gonna do now? Like Friday night, there was no football game, and so if you're in a position where your kids are at home, enjoy every minute of what they're involved in. I think it's a really special time, and before you blink, there'll be grandkids, and they'll be doing the same things, and you can enjoy it again. So anyway, that's been kind of the way it's been. And this week coming up, we have several of our girls are going to be taking a vacation, going to the beach, different with their families, and so we're going to be a little bit. I guess we're going to be a little bit of a skeleton crew next week, but meanwhile, we still work like crazy to get your orders out, and so you can plan on us trying to be as efficient as possible. My friend Regina has been conducting a retreat this past week. She called me today, and she was on her way home, and they had 35 ladies, and Regina's tired, because you can well imagine being in charge of all of that. But I think they've had a wonderful time, and I'm anxious to see some of the projects that they've made. It wasn't really a specific class, but everybody brings their projects that they want to work on, and they all sew together, which I think is really fun. And so we'll get to hear from Regina probably next Friday. We'll see if I'm not sure what her schedule is next week. But also I wanted to mention that one of my granddaughters, Ella, sent me a text last night, and she said, Gigi, it's Grandparents' Day. I think it's the 5th. September the 5th is Friday, right? Is Friday? It's Grandparents' Day. Would you come to my school and have lunch with me? And so I said, well, yes, of course. And meanwhile, I thought, okay, we'll just reconfigure our Gab and Gush. And if we are going to meet maybe on Thursday, but we'll let you know. But I really didn't want to miss that. So
This on Thursday.
what's the 5th? Okay,
Yeah,
but
so
I'm thinking it's a Friday that
Okay.
it's a Friday that she meets. But anyway, we'll let you know, and hopefully Regina can be with me next week, and we'll hear all about our retreat. So today, because we've been working on developing lace kits for Gail's dresses, we're going to talk about that. Michelle has been creating.
It's been a team effort to get this together.
Yes, this has been a team effort. I thought, well, yeah, we could do that really quickly, but I mean, it's very what do I want to say? It takes it takes a lot of work. It took a lot of work, but they're so gorgeous. And so one thing I want to discuss is
So we have 2 of them on. One of them.
which one is it?
On.
Is
We
it
have
the angel lace? One we call the angel lace kit, and so it has what we call the snowflake lace, and then the angel lace. And I'll show you in the overhead after later. And then this is the ecru lace. And so the ecru lace went on yesterday afternoon, and we have been selling it very quickly. And so I've already reordered the lace twice, and I'm sure we'll be doing that. We'll be steadily in touch with Capital Imports and keeping these laces in stock so that we can get the lace kits done. But I mean, I don't know why I'm showing you a picture when you can look behind me and see the real thing. They're so fabulous.
Well, Jeanette is admiring the pretty fabrics under your arms and the beautiful lace blouse beside you. So she's excited.
I'm going to talk about that too. And these are some of the fabrics that Michelle has selected for the jumper portion of Gail's. So Gail sent some options of florals, and so Michelle has selected florals that we have that are Liberties. Now I picked this other one that's not a Liberty, but because I like it so much, I wanted to show that. I wanted to talk a little bit about fall sewing, and then I wanted to talk about this vintage pattern, which I totally love. And it's a straight jumper with a V-neck, and I'm going to show you how you can use the Children's Corner Lillian to create this jumper very, very easily. So let's see here. I will talk about this first, Jeanette. And I wish I could remember where I got this blouse. But definitely it's an estate sale find, and this is a blouse that is it's like lace on top of English netting, and this English netting actually has larger holes than some, but it's all cotton. And I'm trying to decide. I'm going to go to the overhead and overhead will work for YouTube and Facebook, and Instagram I'll hold it up and show you on here. Let's see if I can get, oh, let's go this way. So here we have, I think this is interesting here. There is a hidden placket where the buttonholes are hidden. So this looks like it's made out of linen. This little placket is made out of linen, and they do look like handmade buttonholes here. And so then it looks like with these strips of netting, they've actually made a tuck. They folded it and made a tuck in the netting and sewn that down, and then just pressed it to the side. So instead of attaching any kind of lace, they've just made a tuck in the netting. Isn't that pretty? Mm-hmm. And then these laces on top of here, they're not really necessarily really fine laces, but they're pretty. They're heavier laces. This looks like two little petals and a flower right here, and they're just top stitched right down the center of that netting. So let's go back here.
Leilani says she loves to do handmade buttonholes.
Yeah, a lot of people are loving the handmade buttonholes. I think it's cute the way they've done they've covered the top layer of this fabric placket, and then they've hidden the buttonholes underneath. They covered the top layer with the netting, so it looks like netting all the way down. But it's made it way more secure to have the buttons and the buttonholes through the fabric rather than through a netting. And then it looks like here they've just taken some strips of laces and then made a design on here. And then these little things right here, this is soutache braid, but it looks like a cotton soutache. So they've angled that down and back up. So just by changing the direction of the laces, they've created a beautiful design. Now on the cuff, there are no buttons or anything on the cuff, but it also is done with, this looks like a tuck. A tuck in the, I'll go back to the overhead. Whoops. This is the tuck in the netting fabric right here, and that just creates a pretty design on the cuff. And then just flat lace sewn on the edge of the cuff, and then down the sleeve, the laces are sewn down the center of the sleeve. So pretty simple, really. It looks complicated, but not complicated. And now this is kind of interesting because it's short here in the back, but I can't tell if it was connected. It almost looks like it was connected to something, but not netting here. I can't tell. But the back is shorter than the front. Like the back is to the waist, and then the front hangs down like this.
Say, wow, beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
Mm-hmm.
You can do this. You can make this. It's just a basic blouse pattern made out of netting and lace attached. The lace insertion here is actually cut away from behind, or maybe they sewed it 2 strips and then cut the blouse out. Let's look at the inside. All right, I'm going to go back to the overhead, and looks like, yeah, the centerpiece here is definitely a separate piece that's made and sewn to the other part of the blouse, because this is a different size netting that's holding the middle part, and smaller down here. It's a smaller, although this actually could be a piece, like a motif or something that you would buy and put in there. I'm caught up on here. And then this simple, I thought it was just a stand-up collar, but it actually has little mitered corners, so it could flop down right here, or maybe it's not supposed to, but it looks like it could just kind of flop over and create a little angle right here. Pretty, right? That's pretty. Yeah.
Lonnie said you could wear it over almost anything and it would be beautiful.
Hey, you're right about that. It's not so delicate. It looks delicate, but it's not. It's really not a super delicate blouse. Yeah, that's neat. I wish I could remember where I get all these things, but who knows? You know, sometimes I'm working away on a bin and I uncover it and think, I wonder where that came from. I used to remember all of that, but not so much. Okay, now I want to show you, only because when I was searching for the Lillian pattern that I already had cut out, I came across, this is Little Lizard King Bayfield. And Bayfield is, I made this shirt for my grandsons, and it's so cute. So it actually has a yoke in the back, and cuffs, and then I think it's got a collar stand. Yeah, pretty sure a collar stand. So I made, the boys are pretty little, and we made it for an ad that was in Classic Sewing magazine for a fall ad one time. And I'm trying to think. I think I'm just bought overalls for the twins because they were about 3, And so I bought denim overalls for them, and I used the Fabric Finder's tractor print to make their shirts. But their other brother, Elijah, was a little bit older, and he likes to feel more grown up. So I made him a denim Bayfield shirt. I loved the way this fit. This looks so cute. And it was a lightweight denim, and it made the best looking shirt. And then I had bought khaki pants for him. And then on the inside cuff and the inside collar stand, I used the tractor print. And he was a little bit picky because it wasn't the name brand that the kids go to school, and they have to have the name brand. And so he told me he was willing to wear it for pictures, but he said, I'll probably never wear it again. So he was
just what you want to hear.
Yeah, right. I'm like, okay, well, just put it on for the pictures, and I don't care if you wear it again. So
back to that blouse.
Yeah.
Pat Copeland said that Edwardian fashions had the longer front for it to be tucked into the skirt.
Oh, okay.
But that was the longer back, wasn't it?
Longer
No
front.
front?
Longer
Okay.
front. Yeah. Okay. And then the back didn't matter. Did the back have anything attached? This almost looks like it had, I don't know. Looks like it could have had a super lightweight piece of fabric or something. Oh, that's interesting. I could see that would be an Edwardian look. Yeah. Sweet, right? I really should have, and when I hung it up, I noticed it has a stain right here in the front. I probably could have soaked that out. And the neck is a little bit dirty, but it's still so pretty. So because we're talking a little bit about sewing for boys, but let me go back to Little Lizard King. This is a PDF pattern, and again, I want to tell you how happy I was with the way it fit together. Everything went together great. But also, I'm just pretty excited because Little Lizard King Company, PDF Pattern Company, they've been so nice to us this week. They featured first of all, they gave Michelle permission to post.
And use their main picture
Yeah.
for our kit.
Yeah, to use their main picture for our kit. And we made their Claremont dress, and it was in polka dot, and we were looking for a dress that we could do a contrast asymmetrical collar and a cuff. And Michelle found Claremont and just loved it. And Little Lizard King gave us permission to use their main pictures on our website and in our newsletter and in the kit. And then I opened their newsletter, and they featured it from Farmhouse Fabrics. So thank you, Little Lizard King. And we've used a lot of their patterns, and I've really liked them. But isn't that awesome? That's so kind. But I'm going to go to the overhead and show you this. This is really cute. Let me pull it this way and get a little bit closer. Look at that. That skirt is real full. It's a circle skirt, but it's also gathered. It's a gathered circle skirt. So that has the ultimate twirl factor. And then this is a cute polka dot fabric that we have. So I think you can use Little Lizard King PDF patterns with great confidence. We've used them a lot over the years. This is a success. This too. This was adorable. And they have a line of their adult patterns called Styla, right? Isn't that right? I don't want to make any big boo-boos here. Okay. So that's Claremont. And then this, we're going back here in time. Last week I brought out a pattern with the lantern sleeve that y'all told me that was a lantern sleeve, and this was Simplicity from 1970. Well, this is a McCall pattern. Let's see if we can find a date on it. 1964. So I was 14 in 1964. Thought it was a really good year, 14. But anyway, I remember these little straight jumpers with a deep V neck. And actually, I really love them again. So I'm going to go to the overhead so you can get a good look at this one. This is a size 12. And I think it would be really cute on my granddaughter, Andy. And look at that in a wide wheel corduroy. Now, Emma, didn't you put wide wheel corduroy in a newsletter this past week, maybe, or is it coming up? It's coming up. We're going to be featuring it. But it also would be cute in a boucle or a plaid. We have some great fall fabrics that this would be cute in. And so I'm looking at this pattern, and guess what? No, this is a jumper. There's no zipper, no buttons. It's fully lined. You can wear it with a little tie belt or with a purchase belt and pockets. Look how cute that is. And so I thought, well, I want to make this. This is a size 12. It's a size 12 pattern. And so I thought, well, what can I use to make it? Well, I think that I thought about Lillian, Children's Corner Lillian. It's a straight dress. Lillian buttons down the back, but this doesn't have any other openings except that deep V neck. And so I thought, well, I'm going to compare the two patterns, and I'll show you how they look. Let's see here. Oh, I was going to show you these fabrics for the Bayfield. I'll show you that in a minute. So, one thing in the newsletter I mentioned that we're talking about can you sew a pattern that's designed for wovens? Can you use a knit for that? And the answer is yes. But if a pattern is designed for knits, you're probably going to want to use a knit and not a woven, because there's something that's called like a fitting ease or a wearing ease, that certain amount of inches is allowed beyond the body measurement in order for you to get into it. And then beyond that, there's something called design ease. So the designer may want it to be loosely fitting, and then they may add a lot more inches or whatever. And so with knit patterns, sometimes they have, and I've never heard this term, but I'm sure it's true, because I see people wearing clothes that they call it no ease or a negative ease. So when maybe it's not meant to be that way, but when that knit dress fits right around every single bump and curve, then that would be called a negative ease.
Sounds scary to me.
Yeah, it does.
I don't like the negative ease.
The negative ease. You got to look really good to wear that negative ease. Anyway, I thought, I wonder what kind of ease is in this little pattern. So I looked at body measurements, and I have a size 12. So I looked at body measurements, and the chest for a 12 is 30 inches. The hip for a 12 is 32 and a half. So then I pulled out, I've got the Children's Corner pattern on top of it, but I pulled out the two pattern pieces, and I found the waist area, and so I measured down from the waist area, and then the 12 of Lillian is almost exactly the same as the 12 of this vintage pattern.
Regina says, hello everyone, miss seeing you and being with you, just got home from the retreat.
Regina, welcome.
Sit back and relax.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. So this pattern, the actual pattern in the chest area, measures 34 inches for a size 12. So they have allowed 4 inches for ease in the chest area, and then it measures 36 inches at the hip line, and they say the body measurement is 32 and a half. So they've allowed 3.5 inches of ease, and really it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't that much. But anyway, the Lillian is almost exactly the same. And so I laid one on top of the other. And because I think lots and lots of you have a Lillian pattern. And you could do this. With a Lillian, you would put the, I'm going to go to the overhead on here. Because this pattern, the back is on the fold. So with the Lillian actually has buttons, but you would fold it on the center back line. Here's a center back line. You would fold your pattern on the center back line, and you would place that on the fold of your fabric. So then there's no back opening. And then the front, I'm going to go up a little bit here. The front, I noted that the angle of the V is, what did I say? It's 2.5 inches. It comes down 2.5 inches above the waist. So I folded the Lillian back from the shoulder, from the neckline and the shoulder to 2.5 inches above the waist, and that gave me my angle. Go back here. Now this one has a 5/8 inch seam, so that's why we're in a little bit. But this is actually the sewing line right here, and so it's really not that much. But that's enough of an opening that it could fit over somebody's head, and with no other openings. And then it could be worn with a belt, a tie belt, or a purchase belt, or straight. And it's shown here with pockets that, I think those pockets kind of go, oh, they go right to the side seam. They're good sized pockets, but they go into the side seam. It's cute. It's cute. So
Patty says she's loving your session today, especially regarding using woven to knit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, somebody asked me a question about it, and then I started looking into it, and I thought it was interesting, but I think I might have said this when I first started doing custom sewing. I had I thought I can take people's measurements and I can measure the pattern, and I made that pattern exactly to that lady's size. Well, that was a big mistake. So I learned a real lesson that time. I mean, we zipped it up, but man, there was no breathing room. I'm like, man, they made this pattern way too big for her. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You have to have room to move. You have to be able to lift your arms. You got to get into the garment.
So
and
you would measure the actual pattern to see what size it is.
I mean, you can find out what they intended for the ease to be by taking somebody's measurements and then measuring. Well, you can look at the pattern like I did here, and I found that let's say the hip measurement for a 12 is 32.5 inches, and what they allowed was 36 inches. So it's like, oh, okay, they're expecting you to have 3.5 inches of ease at the hip line. There's more ease at the top, and of course the waist you don't even have to worry about because it's like kind of straight down from there. And I think this pattern looks like it's short. Well, this one comes to the knee, but Children's Corner, I mean, this surprised me because it's like 5 inches longer. You know, the old pattern is the old pattern. But I think it would be fun to take the Children's Corner Lillian and just angle that front piece back and cut out a new front and just turn that into a V-neck, and because I think this is cute. And I'll show you what I think it'd look good in. I think it would look good in wide wale corduroy. I love wide wale corduroy. Let me show you. I was going to bring down the Harvest Gold one or whatever we call it because it's so pretty, but the bolt was so heavy I didn't feel like carrying it. But look at this one. How awesome is this? So the wide wale, This one is like a what, 7 whale or something like that. I'm not even sure. There's not much left of this one. Well, it doesn't say. This is olive, and it's beautiful. So pretty. Would be make a, oh, it's 5 whales because you count how many whales per inch. The whales are the little lines or on a corduroy or a piqué or something like that. Here's the overhead. If you can see, can you see those? Yeah. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful piece. And because I haven't mailed these pajama pants off to Australia yet, I thought, hey, this fabric looks good. This is the woodland animals, and I think it'd be great with that harvest gold too. And this could be a cute shirt or something like that. So let me show you on the overhead. Isn't that cute with the green? I love this. Yeah, this could be a blouse and a skirt, or a shirt and a jumper, or something like that. I think it could be very cute.
Said it would be awesome in the jumper.
I think it would too. I'd love that jumper in a wide whale.
And then she said something about the measurement. She said a friend made a dress for my mom for a wedding to her exact measurements, and on the way the wedding invisible zipper began to separate because it was so hot outdoors. The brocade satin needs more ease.
Right. Yeah. If it doesn't have any lycra in it, you got to have some breathing room there. There's no question about that. Right. I'll show you a couple of fabrics I brought because I think it would be cute in the Bayfield. This is a little twill. It's not really brushed, but it has a soft finish. And also, now this is super nice. This is slightly brushed. It's like a flannel, but it's such a high quality black watch plaid. And that would be pretty. Both of these would be pretty in the Bayfield. The Bayfield is that boy's Little Lizard King boy's shirt. Anyway, these would be pretty in a...
Just in time for fall.
I know, I'm thinking fall. Can you believe it? We're over here sweating like crazy, but...
We get a little breeze and we get excited.
You're right about that. That happened last night at the game. The sun went behind a cloud, and you're like, "Ooh."
When the humidity's below 90%, we got to put on a sweater around here.
You know what? That's the truth. It was 97. Humidity was 97% last week, one day or something like that. It was crazy.
My Canadian family used to laugh at us when we'd come up in July or August. I think it was August. And then it'd get a little cool at night, so we bring us a little light jacket, and they're like, "Really?" We're like, "Yeah."
I know. It's really something. So I keep wanting to show everything else so I can just concentrate on the beautiful laces. So this another thing I wanted to show.
I'm going to mention this. So
Yeah.
Tracy, talking about that lace blouse that you showed,
Yeah.
she said she wondered if it's a pigeon waist blouse.
Now what does that mean?
So I looked it up because
Yeah.
I was curious. So it's like an Edwardian era shirt, and it gets really narrow at the waist.
It's pretty narrow at the waist. It is pretty narrow at the waist because it actually angles, this seam angles in toward the waist at the back. Can you see? Doesn't that look skinny right here? From here to here? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Listen, those are terms. I love when you throw something out there like that because I'm like, what is that? That's neat to learn new things like that. I love it. Yeah. Both sides angle in from up here. They angle down.
You wear that when you're younger, and the opposite way when you get older.
That's right. And I think we might have shown this. This is so cute. In one of the vintage bins. I wonder which side is the right side. I guess it's this side. In a vintage assortment of collars and things, this collar, and it's like permanently pressed in accordion pleats. They're so cute. And this was in there, and so I'm going to go to the overhead and show you what they did. I need
Need some fabric.
yeah, I was thinking put a you know what, I'll put this under it. Okay, because you can see it a little better. So here at the back, they just turned the edges under twice and top stitched. But then same thing as a tiny, tiny little hem going all the way around. And then this is a little cotton lace top stitched. Let's see. Yeah. This little cotton lace. I'm sorry, I've got the hiccups. This is so terrible, right? I've only been drinking water, I promise. Anyway, this little lace top stitch all the way around, and I thought, hey, that's pretty cute. And so we happen to have a roll of fabric that has pressed in pleats, and the way they do that, they put paper on each side of a fabric, and wherever they do, whatever factory they do this in, the paper holds that fabric in place. And I'll pull it aside. I think it's just so interesting. So if I can get this paper off. And I thought, well, this is something people could do for themselves. Come on here. Okay, here we go. So here's the fabric. Right here. You can see it on Instagram. And then I'm going to roll the paper off both sides. Boom. So here's the paper. And you know, you could take your serger and do just the tiniest little serge right around the edge, stretch it out and serge, and then top stitch the lace, top stitch a little edging on there. Then this, all you would do is gather up the neck to the right size and put a bias band around the neck opening. This could be cut down to whatever size you wanted, but you could turn that into a collar like this. So this is quite a bit wider, a couple inches wider, but better wider than more narrow, because you can always cut some off. But anyway, we have a few of these cut pleated pieces for sale, and Emma will link them. But aren't they cute? Isn't that fun? Let me show you on. Look at that. Looks like a bishop or something. And I think that's just fun. So we had this fabric, and we're like, what can we do with this? And then I saw that collar. Like, I know what we can do with this. We can create. Like, you guys can make your own collar. This is just a bias. There's not anything fancy on this bias band. You could just use a cotton batiste or something like that. Do we even put a piece of bias? We might not. I don't know if we have a piece of bias with this strip or not, but we do sell white bias.
We talked
We
about
sell it
maybe
by the
making
yard.
a kit, but no, it's just the
Yeah.
pleated pieces.
Yeah. So there's a creative idea for today. And now I have I've spent a lot of time looking at Gail Doan's heirloom dresses. They are timeless, the timeless heirloom dress. And I mean, is that not just beautiful? And so when we started pulling laces, then I'll show you. I've read her instruction booklet, a lot of her instruction booklet, and there's so many interesting tips. And one of them I wanted to mention, because on this dress, we'll take this one because you can see it. You can see it better. On the front, there are laces sewn on the diagonal, and I think they're a 45-inch, I'm a 45-degree diagonal. And of course, she matches both sides. And when she tells you exactly how to do that and how to sew those. And so she talks about, because we have done this. This is a lace kit. This is the first lace kit we've made. She calls about insertion number 1, insertion number 2, and insertion number 3. And so the insertion number 1 is the one that's 3/4 to 1 inch. And guess what? It varies every time we get it in. It's a different, it's not the exact same measurement, but it's this one, and we have a good picture of it. And then so then we've got insertion number 2 and insertion number 3. And so how does she do this? Because if you've done fancy bands, which is, this is called a fancy band down here, where lace insertions are sewn together, you actually take lace insertions and you butt them up next to each other, and then you using very fine heirloom thread, you zigzag those two together, and it just draws them right up, and they draw right up together and make a beautiful fancy band.
Patty wants to know, can we use cotton batiste to create the dresses?
Definitely. In fact, the cotton batiste, Gail has used Pima cotton batiste. She said it works great. The pink is Pima cotton batiste, and I think, this ivory right here is Pima cotton batiste. Now this is like a Nalona. She used Barissima, which was from Bare Threads, and Bare Threads is no longer in business. So this would be a Nalona, and the color she used there looks like what we call Old English ivory, because it's really a light off-white. And but then somebody today ordered the Ecru lace kit, and they ordered the Aqua Nalona, and now that is so pretty together. So
and they ordered, show them the Liberty. Did you bring that Liberty?
It was this one.
Yep.
And they ordered this Liberty. Yeah, that jumper was made out of this Liberty, and we actually have 3 Nalonas that look great with this Liberty, and one is aqua, one is peach, and one is pink. And so there are a lot of options with this. This is really pretty. I'll show you the overhead so you can see it a little bit better. Look how pretty that is. All those colors. Ooh, they're nice.
So you can have your own option.
Yeah.
Use your creativity.
Ecru was the easiest lace kit for me to assemble, because if you have been buying French laces for any number of years, you are going to find out that white French lace is no longer optic white. And so if you're trying to match up your whites, it's going to be tough. When the first time I got a shipment in that was supposed to be white, I called and said, what happened here? Because it's not white anymore. And so I wanted to show you, see if we can see the difference. I bet you can tell. This is the new white here. But it is, let's see if I'll put a white next to it. Yeah, I'll put a white piece of paper. Well, this white in it. I wonder if you can see the difference. And so this little piece is from my old white. And I don't know if the light hits it just right, if you can see that it's a lot lighter in color. But it's definitely lighter than this. I mean, it's definitely darker than this. And then this was the old white. I'm telling you. Well, I know what I'll do. I'll pull this white dress right here and show you the difference between, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it on there? This almost has an ivory cast, but I'm finding out that the laces now, the white lace coming from France, they're all going to be what you might want to call a soft white. So they still are going to be pretty on a white fabric. I don't know if you can even see the difference. But we're not going to have many options. So it's going to be more like what we call the Moline white. The French lace Moline white is not a stark white. So this is like the lace that would go, this would be the number one
Soft
lace.
white.
It's a little bit off-white. It's a little bit off-white. But still, it's so beautiful even with white. And so on these dresses, we start with the kit. You start with a wide insertion. And then twice around the skirt, there's this wide insertion. And then it's also on the bodice, and it's also on the sleeve. And you work out from that wide insertion. But this is what I thought was so cool that I learned from Gail. Gail uses Aqua Mesh. This is by OESD, Aqua Mesh Wash Away Stabilizer. And she uses this when she does her pin stitching. And then the other place she uses it on this dress is on the front where the laces are on the diagonal. And this is a really good tip for when you're sewing with your laces. So because they're on the diagonal, they need to be stabilized. But if you put the wash away stabilizer under it, you can't butt the edges together. I'm going to go the overhead and show you this. Usually when you do lace to lace, you can put the laces together like this, and then you zigzag over them like that without a stabilizer under it. And it just sucks these edges together and makes it look like one, just like one. It's really, really pretty. But when you're making your diagonal, you want to use this stabilizer because you want to conserve your laces, and you don't want to create some great big thing and then turn it on a diagonal because the laces are expensive. But the way to do that is to draw your pattern piece on your stabilizer, draw your lines, and then she starts with the wide insertion, and just right on the inside of that header, and that's the header. The header is the part where those straight lace lines are right in the very edge, and those are the parts that's the part that you can pull a thread and gather it if you want to. That's called the header. And so you put that on your stabilizer that's been drawn, your lines have been drawn, and you top stitch right on the inside of that header, right like that. And then this is the part that's way different than I've ever heard. Because it's on the stabilizer, you can't put them together you can't butt the edges together and have them draw up because there's a stabilizer under it. So what Gail shows you to do is to lay your second insertion over the top of the first one that's already sewn down, and so it's stacked. Here's the second one stacked on top of the first one, and then you do a tiny little zigzag to hold those two together. So that looks like just one row, and those are stacked together, and you do a tiny zigzag, and so then you continue on with your with all of your lace insertions. On the bodice only, you stack those together and sew them, but you always start with a straight stitch on the wide insertion. So you put that down with a straight stitch inside that header, and then you stack the next one and zigzag over the top of the two of them. And Like, that is a great idea. And so because it's water soluble, you're able to soak that stabilizer off. And then you have that beautiful, all your beautiful laces all in a diagonal the way they're supposed to be. But anyway, that is a good tip, because you do want to conserve your pieces as much as possible. And I'm talking about this because we're cutting these for you. And so I think about it all the time. It's like I want you to get the most for your money. Moline laces are expensive. The lace kit is expensive. It is, but it is stunning, and it'll be a dress that can be an heirloom and for generations. So that's why it's really important to read her directions on how to do this, and they're excellent, really excellent. So, but also I want you to know that on these dresses that look ivory, this is actually the new white lace. How about that? So that's white. And if you want champagne, it's going to be a little darker. The ecru laces that we have are not quite as dark as this, because some of these they're the more old school, but ours are a little on the lighter side, like the one in her center. But they're definitely ecru compared to the other ones. So I'm going to show you what Michelle has done for us. So pretty, you guys. So in each, this is what you get along with your lace kit. You get a guide, and it's going to show the finished dress that you're making. You might be making it with a different color, and then accidentally I put two of those in there. And then it's going to show a list of the laces that you're receiving in this kit. And it will tell you number 1 insertion, number 2 insertion, number 3 insertion, and entredeaux and edging. And so when Gail when she's writing her instructions, she says position insertion number 1 along the diagonal line. So you're going to look and say, this is insertion number 1. So we've tried to make it really easy to follow, because her instructions are easy to follow, and if we line up with hers, then it's going to be good. So the other thing that we have added to this kit, we've added the piece of silk organza for the collar. The collars are a piece of silk organza, except for the very solid white one is cotton organdy, Swiss organdy. And it's a big enough piece. We actually cut it a little bit bigger than what she called for, so that you can make your collar. You've got all your laces and your collar, and then you can pick whatever fabric. You might have fabric at home for the dress. So anyway, that's the ecru one. I'm going to have to show you these are so pretty. Well, I put it on the wrong. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Lonnie says, I want to make the white one for my granddaughter's baptism, but it won't happen for 2 years.
Well, we're going to work on pulling the white laces together for that. So this is one we call the Moline lace kit. The Moline lace kit. And I'll show you, because we have...
That one's not quite on yet.
Oh, this one, okay. We're working on it. Michelle's going to be gone for a few days next week, so her goal this afternoon, she came early, like 6:15 this morning, and she's been working on getting these on. So this is Moline, this is Moline, this is Moline, and this is another French lace and entredeaux. So these are the Moline laces for this, and I'll show you in the overhead. We're real close to having this on. Aren't they pretty? These are the laces that Gail used in her dress. And then this one we call the angel laces, because they look like little angels on here. And so you can see, I'm gonna hold this one up here. So here we have a wide insertion that looks like the snowflake lace, and then the angels here, this edging, and a beading that goes with the angel lace, and then an insertion. And even though it might say 5/8 inch insertion, sometimes these measure a tiny bit bigger. Sometimes they measure a little bit smaller. So it's not an exact science, and it's not going to make a difference when you put everything together and you start sewing it. It's going to be fine. Because laces change in color and they change in width. So, whew, that's what we've been up to.
I'm gonna be sad to see the dresses go.
I know. Gail's probably wondering when we're going to ever send them back, and it's like, oh, I hate to send them back. We will, though. I promise. We will. They're coming. They're coming. Anyway, we also working on a notions kit that will include, but we can link them, and then if you have Gail's class notes, she has exactly what she uses as far as needle sizes and all of that. But we do have all the needle sizes, all the thread sizes, and we do have that in stock. And we have that little pleater thing. Why can't I think of it? The quick pleater.
Quick pleater.
We have the quick pleater in the small size that she uses for this really beautiful ruffle. So let me show you two other this is not Liberty, but this is so pretty to me, and I think it could be a jumper over one of these dresses. Yeah, it's very, very soft. And so this is Lux 11D. You've got that one on there probably, and it's lightweight like Liberty. You could use it like that. It's real pretty.
Patty said, just ordered the Ecru lace kit and the stabilizer. This should take me at least 2 years to complete.
Then this is the other, or is this the one I already showed? No. This is another one that, this is a Liberty. And this is, oh, we don't have a name on it. 1423 floral, but it's Liberty, and look at, I mean, it's beautiful with any of these.
We gave a very generic, beautiful floral.
Yeah.
Is the name.
This is, oh, here's a piece. Yes, isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, this is a Liberty floral. And there is a name to it, but I don't have it on my, on here. So, but you can tell by feeling it. I love these. I love these flowers.
Just search for Liberty if you want to look at all of them.
Yeah, because there are a lot of options, and didn't you put a
I had a stack of some
stack
that
of
I
them.
liked, and
Yeah.
then you can search for more.
Yeah, that's right. So, anyway, let's see. I'm going to show you. Let's see, what did I do with that other kit? That's so cute. Oh,
In the meantime, we had a question
Yeah.
about lining fabric for
Mhm.
linen. What your recommendation is?
well, that's a good question because, I mean, do you want it to breathe? Then you would use cotton, like a cotton batiste. If you want it to, if it doesn't matter to you, then you could use a, like a polyester silky kind of lining. And so, I don't know. But you know what? We just ordered a linen that's so pretty. And it's a khaki color, but it has white eyelet embroidery on it. It's really pretty. It's going to be coming in real soon. Hey, this is the Abigail pattern by Bonnie Blue. Comes over to the side. It's like double-breasted, and it's lined, and it has ties in this really pretty floral. So, it's cute. It's cute. Be cute for fall. This is a corduroy, royal corduroy, and then this beautiful little floral. Actually, this would be a pretty jumper too. But Gail, talking to Gail, and she said there are so many options for the jumper. You could go with, I mean, any kind of a cotton. You could go with velveteen. You could use silks. You could use all kinds of things. Now, one of my favorites was that cotton velvet, and she said that, and it's beautiful. That's like, okay, I love this one the best. But she said that can be a little hard to work on because it can be a little bit bulky. I don't think, we don't have that cotton velvet in that green color, but it's really pretty. But we do have a good green velveteen. Cotton velvet's a thicker pile, and you like, she didn't put any piping on it, and we were laughing because I said, oh, she didn't put buttonholes. That's what I do. Well, that was on purpose for her. For me, it's not on purpose, you know. And anyway, she put covered buttons all the way down the front, and then 2 black snaps, big black snaps underneath just the bodice part. And it's pretty when it opens up and shows that beautiful dress. It's pretty. It's pretty.
That Liberty's called Fairy Tale.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Okay, this is Fairy Tale. We should write that on there.
Fairy Tale B.
Fairy Tale B. Okay, I love that. All right, so there we go, and we'll let you know about next week and what day, because I think Madeline has a grandparent day one day next week too, but
Might be grandparenting all week.
that's right, having lunch with the kids. It's fun. It's fun. And so we're gonna have a drawing. I think this weighs about 10 pounds. It's really, we have a lot of fabric in here, and then we have a whole bunch of thread and needles, the hand sewing needles that we pulled out to talk about in our Thursday tidbit newsletter. And so maybe whoever gets it, you can find things you want. There's from wool to Ponte knit in here. It's a crazy stack. And so anyway, so I was asking you what the tiniest thread that you've used, and then somebody had a silk thread for kimonos that was very tiny and very wonderful, and that was interesting to me. And then somebody else got a thread, maybe 120s from, I think it's pronounced Lacis. I always called it Lacis, Lacis, but I think it's Lacis, and she carries like real fine hand sewing things, and that would be worth looking into if you're looking for really fine thread. Probably the finest thread we have right now is the 80 weight, and that's Madeira Katona 80. And so anyway, let's see who's Diane Bruton. And we called Diane not too long ago, I think. Oh, Diane came to our shop, I think. What a great group of things for the giveaway. She said Susan Newberry taught our group to hand whip and roll, and we used 80 weight, I think. So Diane Bruton, you're the winner. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Drive carefully and enjoy yourselves. Thanks.